Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Wausau Curling Center. Happy St. Patrick's Day this Friday, March 17th. Tonight we have draw 6 of the USA Curling Club National Championship coming to you. And I have a new partner with me, Mr. Dean Gemmel, interim CEO of USA Curling, a former co-worker of myself. Welcome, Dean.
Thanks for having me, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here in Wausau and a pleasure to join you for a game here in the booth. An all-Wisconsin battle.
An all-Wisconsin battle, yeah, call it the Badger battle, I guess.
The Badger battle, we've got Team Hampton, Mandy Hampton, defending champion in this event.
She is.
And they're up against Team Landon, the host club entry here from the Wausau Curling Club. And we're starting things off here with Nicole Bookout, lead on Team Hampton with her first shot. So Hampton actually has hammer. This is the second shot of the game right here. So see how things get underway. Hampton is lost their last game, last rock shot. Or did they win their last game?
They won their last game.
They did, yes. You know what happened? Mandy had a fall after the game, and that's what threw me. She had a fall that did not reflect the win, so she fell after leaving the ice. But yeah, they did have a win in the last game, so they're off to a good start.
And unfortunately, the Wausau team has not recorded a victory yet, but you know, they're out there having fun. They did earn a berth as a host team, and at the club level, we did have a play down to see who would take that host bid. So they won that.
And they lost their last game in an extra end. We're down 4, playing 7, took 2, stole 2, and then gave up the 1 in the extra.
They did. They did. So, you know, they're competing. They're having fun. It's a great experience for them, though. I think for any club that hosts a national championship, that's like the club nationals in particular, that's a great benefit to be able to put one of your own teams into the championship, right, Dean?
Yeah, it's a relatively new element of hosting some of these championships for USA Curling. We know that we're grateful for host clubs whenever they do host, you know, one of the things it does is it brings a certain energy into the club. We've got a lot of people here watching the Wausau team and all the men's and women's teams, and they've both been in close games. And I think that that's just an important value add for clubs that are hosting. So club nationals, the host club gets a spot. Mixed fours, the host club gets a spot. 5 and under nationals, the host club gets a spot. So, you know, we want to make those events appealing to host clubs. That's one other way we can do it. I think it's a great experience for this team here. This is the second here for Valerie Gorich.
Yeah, heavily active volunteer in our club. She's been also doing timing during this event. You know, it's a big event to put on, and our members have stepped up and volunteered anywhere they're needed.
Well, I actually asked the guy who was doing timing there before. He mentioned that he would look after her merch. He thought he meant that I'd just keep an eye on it, and I wanted him to both time and sell merch. But Fred Fetzer, timing supervisor, decided that wasn't a good idea, which I think
put the kibosh on that one.
Yeah, I think that was good thinking on his part. But we do have merchandise here, as some people have heard me talk about.
And it's very nice merchandise. I mean, it is some nice stuff.
It is good. We're excited about it. So Hampton lies 2. This is trying to wrap one around here again. Christmas tree this, I imagine. Nicole Bookout was just in the mixed doubles nationals with her husband Dan Wiesa, and Dan also played in the senior nationals in Seattle last week. That rock slips to the back 12. But still some work to do for Landon here. There's a double available.
Landon's very old school with the pad down.
Pad down, I always have trouble with that. I can't really see. I need a big target with the broom. Like I like a nice big target so I don't miss it.
Give me that blaze orange pad.
Yep. Or the mustard orange now.
Yep.
They're working hard on this one, trying to.
Well, there's somebody you recognize, Terry Gleason.
Terry Gleason, a USA Curling board member from Wisconsin. So nice to see her get an opportunity to compete in this event. So Hampton still lies 2 here, I believe. And they'll try to wrap one around again. touching the top 4 would be good here. Top 8, Christmas tree this. So Hampton won this event last year when it was in Eveleth at Curl Masabi. Eager to try to defend their title. Those are some pretty great Badger uniforms they have there.
Yeah, I don't know who was the who came up with that design, but I think they're very cool.
I will say the Wisconsin Badger patch is really one of the best patches in curling. So
it is pretty sharp.
yeah, I'm a fan. So they'll try to, Lisa Landon will ask, I believe this will be Terry Gleason throwing. Her third, she'll ask Terry to take on a hit here. Would love to, might be able to cross it and make a double.
Dan Wiesa is watching, says hello, Dean.
I'll say hello back to Dan. I've seen a lot of Dan in recent weeks. Maybe too much, Dan. No, great guy. Love when he comes to events. They had a good run at the seniors. He was playing with Paul Pustavar.
Very familiar name.
And lost in the, so Gleason will remove 2 stones, or at least they'll now lie, I believe, second and third. And in a good position in the top of the 4-foot.
So we got about 40 people on our stream so far. Let you know that we're streaming this sheet solely, but we'll keep you updated on all the other games as we see them change, probably even ahead of Curling Zone. So stick with us. We'll get you the absolute quickest scores.
Sarah Kirchhoff with her first stone of the opening end. I think they're playing an intern ank corner freeze. Looks like it's a little tight out of her hand.
They are sweeping and
working in hard to try to hold the line here. Looks like she's by the guard. And they're gonna make the hit.
Oh wow, nice.
Nice shot. Roll across behind the guard. Got enough to avoid the jam. There's an opportunity now though for Landon to possibly lie 2. Could even lie 2 with 1 behind cover. Sort of a plumb bob style of holding the broom there, Steve.
Right.
Jack Nicklaus, 1976.
Checking the.
Were you ever able to make the plumb bob work for you as a golfer? Yeah.
I don't understand what I'm even looking at when I do that.
I've tried, but could never quite pull it off. This looks pretty good. Gleason will remove that stone. She'll leave her shooter open. But Landon now lies 2. Hampton would like to roll under. Sarah Kirchhoff, her second shot of the opening end. This team out of the Madison Curling Club in Madison, Wisconsin. I stopped in at the Wisconsin Club Playdowns in Wauwatosa back in December. Another great club in Wisconsin, Wauwatosa.
Good old Tosa.
He's going to over curl a bit. They will still lie 2. 2 red out on the wing. Certainly a double available out there though, if Lisa Landon wants to take it on. Lisa Landon, her first shot of the opening end, facing 2, but does have a double available. Throwing the out turn hit. Rock on the way now, they're sweeping it for line. Not a lot of weight, and it might curl out in the wing there without much weight. And that's what it does. It removes one stone, but that will leave Hampton lying 2. Hampton with last rock in the first end.
Getting ready for her first shot. Dan Wiese is stalking you. He'll be up tomorrow.
I'll have to lie low. It'd be a good time for me to head over to Plover to look at our warehouse, USA Curling Warehouse in Plover. Outturn freeze for Hampton here. She makes this perfectly. We'll see what Landon decides to take on. She'll have a decision at that point.
We might have a lineup change that we weren't aware about. Let me check here.
I'll let our research team get to work on the on the lineup change.
So Rebecca Westfall is throwing third for Hampton. We have her at second.
We do, so we'll make that fix. Mandy Hampton, her first shot of the opening end. Lying 1 already, trying to lie 2, 1 frozen.
She's using what's the name of that stabilizer?
Yeah, it's the one Reed Carruthers uses or worked on. So
the big one.
Did they oversweep this a little bit? It looks like they did.
Oh.
Slips too far.
Little mistake.
Overswept, didn't curl up like they expected it to, and now Landon has a chance to hit and lie 2. Lie 2 and the force would be on. She was a little quiet with the weight on her first one, I think, out in the wing. Usually early in the game, you want to make sure you're maybe a touch firmer with it than you normally would be. Coaches are out on the ice at this event.
Looking nice and warm.
Right. Does not look. That's another reason I never got into coaching, Steve. Rock on the way, outturn hit. I think it's going to start to move here, but they haven't laid a brush to it yet.
No, they're laughing.
There it is, laughing all the way, and a hit and stick to lie 2.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just as you drew it up. When did you start curling, Dean?
I really started with any intent when I was 14 or so, 14 or 15. I mean, I grew up around a curling club because my parents were active curlers, but not until 14 or 15 when the NHL dream died and the basketball dream died, and I decided I was well suited to curling. So yeah, that's when I started playing.
Perfect.
Which I actually think is looking ahead, I always think that our sport in this country, we can maybe attract young players in a similar situation, start to realize that maybe their sport they've focused on, they will only have plateaued at, and they can find another sport to move into. And I think curling is a sport that can be picked up in your teens, and you can become a great player, you know, with partly I think because when you're a teen you have time to practice and your body can throw 200 rocks. This is
it's interesting.
Trouble.
Yeah.
That's well short, and that will be a steal of 2 for Landon to start things off. So 2 for the host team from Wausau, Wisconsin against the defending champion, and we'll head to the second end, Steve, with Landon holding a 2-0 lead.
You know, we were talking before we went live, but you said that Mandy actually fell coming off the ice.
She did after the last game. She made a shot to win. It was a good shot to win, and then she did fall, just exiting the ice area. I don't think it's having any impact on her, but it was
maybe simple tight muscle. But I mean, that could have done something. Those are 2 wildly different shots.
Yeah, her second there was about, you know, was quite a bit short. We're using USA Curling Championship rocks here at the Club Nationals. We have the 5 sheets that we typically use at our national championships, men's and women's, mixed doubles. We have those stones here and 1 additional sheet we have. So I think it's exciting for the players here at this event to get to play with those rocks. We've got Sean Olson, our USA Curling head ice tech, making the ice here.
Making the magic.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's mystique on the USCA competition stones for sure.
Well, yeah, it certainly helps. I mean, I think one of the things for teams that play in those events a lot, you get a pretty good rock book. But they are certainly, Sean has textured them to move, and
No sensor handles.
no sensor handles until the software gets to a better place. We probably won't be using them. WCF isn't using them this year, the World Curling Federation, at least as far as I know. They are working on the software to improve it. No, I always loved the sensor handles, actually, Steve. I thought it was a great solution, but then not when they don't work.
The maintenance of them, you know, when we did the COVID bubble nationals here in Wausau.
Oh, did we have an incident with the sensor handle there, Steve?
Well, I was just going to bring up.
I don't recall.
I forget his name from Alaska, but he had a bench set up to do repairs on the sensor handles and spare parts. Lee, yeah, from Alaska. And you know, just it was amazing watching the repair and the maintenance to keep them up to speed.
Yeah, it seems to me it's the kind of technology that could be fairly simple to solve, but I say that as a guy who knows nothing about how to solve it. So
no, but we got, you know, these funky things that we put in our pockets that have just about anything possible on them.
Right. But this will be Landon. We'll play the hit on the stone just in the top of the rings. They'll line one. We'll see what Hampton elects to do here. She's going to keep hitting. Her team trailing by 2, but patient still here in the second end. 8 end games at the Club Nationals. 12 teams per gender, 2 pools of 6.
All 12 women are out there right now. All 12 women teams are out there right now.
Yeah, one of the exciting things about having a facility like this one to play at, we've got 8 sheets of ice here. You can see that we've marked them with letters. You typically use numbers here, but mark them with letters, and it's great to have the ability to host a large event in a venue that's right size for it. That just hangs around over there. Landon's going to take a look at it.
I'll tell you a little funny story about those letters on the sheets. You see on sheet 1 and 8, they're just round, right?
I do.
The funny thing is that if you took that off and turned it around, it would say A instead of 1. And so what happened was, don't tell Jim this, but Jim Wendling, bless his heart, made those lettered signs above the scoreboards.
Before realizing
that he could have just turned the round ones around.
No, you haven't told Jim that you're just telling him this now in this webcast?
He's not listening.
Wow.
But, you know, Jim also made those timing tables.
Yeah, I will say I think I think Jim chose a little better font for the A, B, C, D, E, F.
I love those. They do look very, very cool.
Landon elects to draw in open, and her second. Is her second Brandy Cochera? I'm not sure now with this lineup change. We'll have to get our crack research team on it, but she'll remove that stone, lie 2. Landon would probably like to roll over and group her stones a little bit. Group her stone over near the other Hampton counter. Bring down in-turn hit here for Valerie Gorich. Make the nose hit. And still lie 1.
Dean, you mentioned Mandy won last year, which is fantastic. What was more fantastic is she was in the 5 and under national bonspiel up in Duluth in 2018, the first one.
So a rapid ascent for Mandy Hampton.
Very much so.
Looking forward to our bit of a mistake there. I think they could have been sweeping that to avoid grouping the stones.
Brandy is throwing second.
All right.
So it's
so the lineup is Mandy Hampton, Rebecca Westphal, Brandy Cochera, and Nicole Bookhout.
Yep. Sarah is
5-player team, and Sarah Kirchhoff gets the night off.
St. Patrick's Day off.
Just stopped in at the Red Eye Brewery in between games.
Did you happen
For
to check
something
out the
to
Red
eat.
Eye Brewery?
That's something that was great.
It's very good food, very good beverages.
Terry Gleason, outturn hit. Still haven't laid a brush to this one. We'll see if they.
It's got some speed.
Seems like it might be an opportunity to carve one here, but
roll out.
they're going to just feather that rock out of the rings. And now Hampton will try to split the house here. Draw to the open side and work towards a deuce here in the second end to tie the game up.
Terry's practicing a release.
Appreciate the Wausau Curling Club putting this stream together with the Wausau Area Access Media.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, nailed it.
Yes, big partners of us. They worked with us in Badger State games. They worked with us in the Wisconsin State Curling Championships, which we're the permanent home for. And then, obviously, for this event, we want to thank the Ron and Jan Clemish Charitable Fund for sponsoring the stream.
So that rock just slips out the back after some vigorous sweeping from Lisa Landon. She's going to have one more look at it. It looks to me like it's out.
I think you're right. We definitely don't have the perfect views for lines and things like that watching monitors. And the overhead cameras do have a little distortion, but that looks out.
Bit of a gamble here with up two. I think we can call this a little unconventional, Steve. We're going to put up a centerline guard. Up two, you might elect to hit and move towards a blank.
Exactly.
Or get lucky and get a force, but they'll put up a centerline guard. It'll be interesting to see if they make this shot, if Hampton decides to come around it. That's going to slip into the ring, so I'm going to guess that Hampton will hit that stone, hit and lie two.
Yeah.
So this is the third, Rebecca Westfall. And to make this hit.
Hit. Roll.
Successful. Lisa Landon will hit the stone shot rock. Probably love to roll over to the wing. Make things a little more difficult for Hampton on her next stone.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't take that rock out on the wing.
Earlier, yes. Seemed like that would have been the typical play. Even if you hit and spill out, would be difficult to see Hampton scoring two after that. But here we are.
And she's got a pretty good chance to score her two now.
Lisa Landon does have a 2-point lead. She's up two after scoring two in the opening end. Landon, first shot, second end, facing two. Moving hard for line here, trying to hold it. We'll go the other way. At least in the new territory here for Hampton to deal with. So they had a play down here for the host club spot, did they, Steve?
They did. Two teams played down for it.
Two teams. Did they have a best of 7? Or just a single game?
You know, it's funny you bring up like a best of 7. It's like sometimes I think Briar, things like that. Should be a best of 7.
It's
Go
a
back and forth between cities.
It's a long week and a lot of travel, but I can see the appeal, Steve. As an administrator, I struggle with the finances.
Well, those are just minor details you work out later.
Yeah. Hampton trying to hit and lie too. They're on it early. Can they hold this one? Looks like it's starting to curl. And I think they've missed that.
Interesting.
So Mandy Hampton struggling early here. She's missed a draw well short. Obviously got that intern hit going. Now Landon will have a discussion about what they want to do.
Terry's saying, you got to get rid of this rock.
Well, though, at this point, she could just draw a lie 2 open. She can certainly, with some separation, split the rings and you have a force.
True.
Doesn't necessarily have to remove that stone.
She keeps pointing at it, though.
they do seem more concerned about it now than they were earlier. And I guess now they have elected to remove that stone.
But you're exactly right. That might not be the play now. Before, yes. Now, no.
Well, if they hit and stick, it's a good call. They hit and stick to lie 2.
But you just saw Mandy throw 3 rocks that weren't that great. You put one 8 foot.
Yeah, I think at this point in the game, considering how the first end went, you might want to make your opponent draw against 2. Nonetheless, here comes Landon, her last shot, second end, hoping to lie 2. Intern hit on the way, they're on it early.
Yeah, the question will be, will she have enough?
This is the intern that right-handers typically get started.
Looks like it's curling a ton.
Can they hold it?
Well, they got it and they stuck. Nice.
Unbelievable. That's how you split the ring, Steve. Look at that.
it's
about as split as you can get.
It is.
Wow, stuck right there, right on the edge. Looks like Hampton's going to hit this one. Not comfortable with the idea of drawing yet, so she's going to throw the hit she just threw. You like to throw the same shot that you just missed, Steve?
Well, you do get another chance at it, so you try extra hard, I guess.
You know what I don't like is I don't like throwing the third shot that I've just missed in the following end.
All right, here it comes.
Last shot, second end. Hit to try to take one here for Team Hampton. This looks tight out of her hand too.
She's wincing. They're hammering it.
This looks like looks similar to the last throw, I think.
Oh boy, did they get it? Oh,
So it'll be a steal of 1 for Landon against the undefeated and defending champion Team Hampton. We'll go to the third end with Landon, the host club, carrying a 3-0 lead.
Let's give a couple updates while we can. On sheet, sheet B, that's us. What are we doing?
We're on B. A.
Let's do A.
A is
A after 1. They haven't scored. Oh, here we go. Perfect.
They're just going to tell us about 2. First, it's going to be held behind the back. So this is a good time to talk about how if you flip those numbers, they're letters on sheet. What would be sheet 2? So the number is out. It's in the official's hand, and now it goes up. It looks as a 2. So that game's tied 2-2.
So on sheet A, it's Yapel from Chicago versus Smith from Denver. Yapel tied it up in the second end. They are now knotted at 2. Sheet C, we have the Bowman rink out of Dakotas versus the Kono rink out of Seattle.
Oh, the Seattle Granite Club, where we just were for the seniors.
Yeah, and Kono looks like she dropped to 4 in the second end to go up 4-1. And a great team, Politano versus Segovia. Sheet D, we haven't got the second end. So the first end, Segovia actually scored 1. So 1-0 so far after a first end mark over Politano from Ardsley. that team's really battling. They're playing some great games.
Yeah, young team out of Ardsley, fun to watch.
And Segovia out of Houston. I mean, what a great story that would be too.
The Arena Club, the oldest arena club in the country. The Curling Club of Houston is celebrating its 50th anniversary. As some of them say, it's a source of both pride and shame. But,
wow.
but I think it should be a point of pride. If you can keep a club like that going through ups and downs, that shows a lot of dedication to the sport.
I did not know that, and that is fantastic, actually.
Yeah, they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. They're going to have a big bonspiel in August to celebrate it.
That's crazy.
I do think it's remarkable, and I don't mean to be. I'm not being facetious at all here, but to keep the energy and enthusiasm in those kind of conditions for that long,
for sure,
takes a certain special group of people. So hats off to them. I'm sure they'd love to have a curling specific facility at this point, but we know how difficult those are to make happen. So good for them for continuing to curl all those years.
For sure. Is that the one I've seen a picture of in a mall in Houston?
Well, funny you bring that up. My parents were members of the Curling Club of Houston, and they did used to curl on the skating rink ice at the shopping mall, the Galleria, but
yeah.
I believe they're in a different venue there now.
Okay. Last update on Sheet E, we have the Swiss Elm rink out of Detroit versus the Walsh rink out of the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, and that is knotted at 1 after 2 ends. So a tight game there.
And Sheet F, we have the other team from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, Adriana Camarena.
Yeah.
And they're taking on the Minnesota team.
Minnesota has they haven't finished the second end scoring, so after 1, it's 2-0 Kraus.
Kraus out of Duluth.
Big party up in Duluth this weekend for the House of Hearts. Also 20 inches of snow I think they got. So they have all kinds of fun going on.
I thought the House of Hearts was a serious bonspiel, Steve.
It is.
You're trying to tell me it's some kind of a party.
When they're out there, it's serious, and they seriously raise money. It's a charitable bonspiel.
For a great cause.
Yep. And they seriously have fun.
Back to our feature game. This is the third stone of the end for Landon. They have a 3-0 lead, and they're about to warp one around, maybe over curl here. Can they hold the line a bit? Team Landon's here to curl tonight, Steve.
Nice shots. Nice shots.
Wraps it around. Hampton will try to freeze on the corner of that one. So, Steve, how long have you been a member here at the Wausau Curling Club?
I started back around, it's always questionable, 2001,
okay,
2002-ish. So 20.
So when you started, was in the old building, I guess, right?
Yes, we were in the old chicken coop barn, 5 sheets. So in the fall or the summer when the fair came to town, the 4-H kids had their rabbits and chickens in that area where we would curl in the winter.
I will say, anybody who hasn't been to this club to play here, it's really one of the finest facilities we have in the United States. 8 sheets, a great viewing area, tiered seating behind floor to, I don't know how high up. It's not quite the ceiling because of the tall ceiling here, but it's a lot of viewing glass. And then it's wrapped around, you can see the viewing glass there, wrapped around on the far side with a substantial bar area. Dining hall over there, Steve. Guys, it's quite a facility, and I'd urge anyone who has a chance to play in an event here to get out and do it.
I would too. I mean, we love to have people. We love to be great hosts. We know we have a fantastic facility, and it takes a lot of volunteer effort to make it continue to be top-notch. It was built with a lot of community support, and we're debt-free.
There's a look over into the bar area at the side. That's along the side. We're getting a good view there. That's the side bar. You can great viewing from the side actually, and there's the viewing from the home end. You can see the size of those windows. Speaking of good hosts, though, so far in this game, Lisa Landon and her Wausau teammates are not especially generous. They're lying to now. Hampton's going to peel this peel one of the guards up front and maybe just spill it a little bit. So lack of execution so far for Hampton. They're struggling a bit after their 2-0 start. Landon now lying 2. If she could ever get one in top of the forefoot here, would be a real opportunity.
Yeah, above tee would be great.
Discussing a guard, but you'd really love to wrap another one around there. Top of the forefoot. There you go.
Yep.
Top of the 8-foot would be good too. So interesting, Steve. Is that a turn signal she's using there? Do you guys use the opposite way as well here in Wisconsin?
Well, we use the correct way.
I thought North Dakota was opposite and Schenectady in New York. The only clubs, Schenectady for some reason, an outlier. And North Dakota, now I encounter Lisa Landon from Wausau, looks to me.
Yeah. Yep.
But do you actually use the correct? Is Lisa a North Dakotan originally?
No. She's doing it the way we would all do it in the club.
Oh, okay. So it's a club-specific move.
We're all taught that.
Here in Wausau or throughout the state?
You know, I've seen it both ways.
This might be the most confusing state to curl in, Steve. I had certain retirement plans in Wisconsin,
well,
and now I don't. I might have to
we
scuttle
make it
them.
simple. We give the turn
Yeah.
in the direction we want the stone to come.
Oh, I agree that there's an argument to be made for the turn signal either way. I typically don't like to give turn signals even to new curlers to make them understand.
That's fair. I get that. It's like you pretty much understand where the broom is, what you have to do. Yeah.
I want to force them to actually think about what they have to do when I play with new players.
Yeah. I get that.
Hampton in a bit of trouble here now. Landon can really seal it off.
When I was a young curler, I was brought up with the turns, and my first skip was Cal Tillish, and he would always do the turn no matter what. And then it comes time to go to my first Bonspiel, and so we get a group of 3 together, 3 young curlers, and we need a skip to take us because we're not going to skip. So we ask Ron Kopp, and Ron was a longtime member. His wife's Pam Kopp, and how's this go now?
Gleason's going to lock another one in here.
Erica Brown is their niece.
Yeah.
As well as Craig. So ties to the Madison Club. But so we go off to Stevens Point, and Ron's like, well, guys, I don't really give you turns. I'm just putting the broom down, and you guys figure it out.
Good stuff by Ron. I liked it.
We're like, oh, yeah, right.
He's already my favorite Wisconsin curler.
So we're playing along in the Bonspiel, and it's like being the grown-ups. But we loved it. We need people like that to take young curlers off to somewhere else and have a weekend of fun.
So Landon definitely has Hampton in some trouble here. Lying 4. Gleason locked one on. Hampton needs to move some granite here. It's not thrown particularly hard, but it should get some action going. Gets rid of 2. Pretty successful, actually. Makes a double. Still lying 2 for Landon, and an opportunity to wrap one around there and really make things difficult for Hampton. I'll tell you my greatest turn story when I played with, and I hate to be the guy who's talking about old curling stories, but I'll share just one. Just one. This is all I'm going to do. But playing with Heath McCormick in 2012, the year we won, and he put the broom down, and our second, Martin Sather, asked him which turn. It was like sort of right on the rock because it was in it was straight in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And Heath, without moving, said, "You should know," and refused to give a turn signal. So that's
nice.
my turn signal story.
Yeah.
Lisa Landon with her first stone against defending champion Mandy Hampton. Has Hampton in trouble here. So look at Hampton and her 3rd for this game, Rebecca Westphal. Out-turn draw. Would love to just tuck a little piece behind that red guard.
Delicate release there.
How would you describe your release, Steve?
Not delicate.
Not delicate. More touch of a blacksmith?
Yeah. It's a soft release, but it's not fingertip really.
Yeah. This is actually, it's going to carve hard here now because it doesn't have a lot of rotation, but not a bad leave.
Yeah, that's nice.
There is some room in there, but certainly, wow, pretty good shot. We did hear from a lot of the players in this when they went out for their pre-event practice and playing with these textured rocks and where you have to put a lot of rotation on. It was an adjustment for some of the players in the field. Not all, but some. Landon and Gleason, they're fired up right now, Steve.
I think they're probably as pumped as they've ever been.
They're all over this team Hampton so far.
They got to feel pretty good where they're sitting right now.
Andy Hampton with some challenge here.
I think we'll get an indication after this rock, you know, just if there is something up.
Quick in the hack. In turn, trying to run this back, I think. On this redstone back.
Nope, sweep, no sweep.
On and off.
Wrecked on the guard. Oh.
She was trying to run it straight back. Didn't quite get to nose.
Gotcha.
Danger Will Rogers right now for Hampton.
I would say so.
If you put one right about where Terry Gleason's going to suggest, there's a chance that it's almost impossible for him. Well, there's no chance for Hampton to score.
She wants it. She wants it in the.
And you could corner freeze on that yellow, and basically impossible for Hampton to score. Probably the best she could do would limit you to 2. Certainly a tale of two teams with different mannerisms at the moment.
One's pretty excited.
Yep, and loose, happy to be out there. The other one not looking too happy so far, which is how I am when I'm trailing in a game and facing 3. I'm not too happy to be out there either, so it's not casting any aspersions on the team. It's just difficult. Here we go, Lisa Landon, her last shot, third end. Lying 3 already, trying to cap them.
No sweeping.
Be interesting to see if they called a guard or if they were actually trying to draw one in here.
Now they're going hard. It's curling.
Not much rotation, so this rock's really going to curl.
It's going to over curl.
It will over curl. If they could chisel that one, would probably be good. But
ooh, no. Well,
still pretty difficult for Hampton here. She's going to take a good long look at this, and nothing's going to be particularly appealing.
She's thinking, does she have her draw weight? We haven't seen it.
Not only does she need draw weight, she needs to have the right line to get enough of the button. I think a hit, she hits that, she might be able to get away with just giving up 1. Team will discuss it. It's always good when you're on a team, and as a longtime front end player, when you didn't play an end particularly well, and then you come down to offer advice to your skip who's now facing 4. I'll tell you what, I tended to just not offer any advice at that point. I would just
hang out at the other end.
I would just cower at the far end and
get the rock ready.
Yeah, get the rock ready and say, you got it, skipper.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'll
Not
get it
really.
there. Whatever.
I was always unlikely to come down and offer some suggestions. Well, it looks as though she's elected to play this draw to a piece of the button, followed by her team here. She needs T-line and enough of the button to score. She'd probably be thrilled just with, even if she manages to only give up 1 here. Facing 4.
Is that Nicole doing all the jogging?
Yeah, Nicole is jogging right at us there.
Yeah. I noticed she's jogging a lot.
She does sort of run up and down the ice when playing front end here. Here we go, though.
All right.
Andy Hampton needs a piece of the button. Rock on the way.
She doesn't look like she likes it. They're hammering it.
It's curling early. This looks like trouble to me.
It does, very much so.
That center line is coming up fast, and the rock is digging in fast.
It
That's
is
going to be a steal of 4.
Oh my.
See if they get it in there for anything. I think it's a steal of 4. Ooh, might have got in for 4th shot, but I don't know. It's definitely 3. They could move the other 3 out of there, but it looks to me like it's pretty close to 4. If they carve, they're going to measure those other 2, but they could take those 3 away. Good move here, curlers, is make sure you know count the 3 first, get them out of the way, then start looking at the other 2.
And yeah, the vice is agreed and moved him out.
There we go. So they will measure for.
Wow.
It's already 3 for Landon. That would put them up 6-0. If it's 4, they'll go up 7-0. From that perspective, Steve, it looks to me like it is 4.
I would say it's yellow.
I'm going to go with 4 yellow. We'll get a measure. Here we go. Official making his way out there. Close up of the 2 stones. See the narrow striking bands in our championship stones, makes them a little more lively.
A lot more lively. Very poppy.
It's fun to play with lively striking bands.
Ours at our club are they're kind of similar.
It's good. Striking bands are the one thing on a stone that's really hard to repair once they start to lose them. This looks like, yeah, that broke the measure. Yellow for sure. So it's 4 yellow. That may count the score as 7-0 for Team Landon over the defending champions, Team Hampton from the Madison Curling Club.
Kind of shocking.
We'll head to the 4th end with Landon carrying a 7-0 lead. There's the tale so far, Steve. 2-1-4. When you score like that, you usually do pretty well. I'm not a math expert, but tend to think, not like Jim Wendling, who's from this club and a math teacher, but I can tell that 2-1-4 is a good start.
Speaking of Jim Wendling, we're going to have one of his sons over here, Wes Wendling, and then Miranda Shield will be joining that combination. I will be stepping out, and Dean will guide them along the live stream, talk a little junior curling, a little what's happening in the junior world.
Yeah, some of our talented young juniors in the United States here. Miranda Shield just back from the World Championship in Fusen, representing the United States. They'll both be at the Junior Nationals at Broomstones in Wayland, Massachusetts. That event starts April 3rd, runs through April 8th. 8 teams per gender this year, a great field, I think. So looking forward to that. I'll enjoy having a conversation with these two. They can tell me exactly what we need to fix and what's working in junior curling. So Landon's going to open up with a draw to the wing here. She's up 7-0. She'll draw to the open side. This is her lead, Susan Gould.
A couple quick updates on sheet A, Yapel versus Smith. It looks like Yapel is now up 3-2 over Smith after 3. Sheet C, Bowman versus Kono. We have Kono now extending that lead 5-1 over Bowman. Oh, look at that. On sheet D, Politano versus Segovia. And Segovia has scored in every end. Segovia is up 5-0 over Politano. That's a little bit of a shocker, Dean.
Bit surprising also after report here that Mandy Hampton has stepped out of the game.
Oh.
She's been replaced by their 5th player, Sarah Kirchhoff, I believe. So Hampton's struggling in this game. Maybe it is related to the fall she took after the game, but Kirchhoff is now in at skip. The rare move where the skip comes out. The 5th replaces that player. That rock looks like it's going to just hang around at the back.
That's a twist.
So Hampton out. Wonder if she is really struggling with some kind of injury. She might want to just leave the playing area. But she's there supporting her team. So now Landon's going to try to throw, I believe, a guard here. This rock's curling early, too. Certainly don't want to leave a corner guard. One of the great playlists, too. I don't know if it's the Sirius channel here, but at the Wausau Curling Club, love the music that's always in here. Got a little Tom Petty right now.
I think for the first night there was some classical stream going on.
There was classical, and I enjoyed that too, but I also enjoyed this Tom Petty and some John Prine earlier in the day.
Well, and I was the next day I was like, well, the classical's not going to cut it, so I started flipping through whatever that was, and I found it was Pandora, I think. Found the Eagles channel.
Well, good call. I don't know how John Prine snuck in the Eagles channel, but I guess it kind of makes sense. I'm a big John Prine fan, enjoyed that. So, a couple miscues here for Landon. Rock just short of the rings, another rock that curled off the sheet. So now Hampton will lie 2. Let's see if Landon elects to go to work on some of these stones. Remove them, up 7-0. Sometimes up 7-0 after 3. If you think about it too much, you start to just worry about blowing a big lead. So you got to stay focused and stay confident.
Or you just get a little too comfortable.
This is Landon's second, Valerie Gorch. Steve has an update for us.
Update on sheet E. We look like Swiss Helm versus Walsh, and Walsh scored in the third end, a single. So Walsh is leading 2-1 over Ann Swiss Helm.
Interesting thought on sheet E, Steve. The 6 that's usually over sheet E, if you turn it around, has an E on the other side. But again, I'll say Jim Wendling's font choice, superior. It's fantastic.
It is beautiful. Where is Jim? Not here.
He's not here. So he's doing curling zone right now, I think, actually. All right, so it's Landon lying 1 now. This will be Rebecca Westphal.
We'll see what this lineup change does for the Madison team.
You know, it's in other sports, of course, teams use lineup changes to bring some new energy into a game.
Like the spark plug.
Basketball, certainly something we see that a lot in, but not so much in curling. I think that one at the back is on. I think it's a little biter way at the back 12 foot. The way they looked at it, I'm not entirely sure. But I believe that stone, no, from the overhead it looks like it's out. So they took a long look at it. Maybe they were a bit of gamesmanship there, Steve, acting like it was in. Second shot here at the end for Valerie Gorch. Am I saying that name right, Steve?
Yeah.
Jumped in here quickly.
Gorx.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't saying it right. I apologize for that. Gorx.
Quick update on sheet F. We've got Kraus from Minnesota over Camarina from Mopac. Another San Francisco Bay Area curling club team.
Another team that's looked good this week, the team from Oakland.
And Kraus scored in third end a single to go up 3-1 over Camarina.
This is Rebecca Westphal with her second here in the fourth end. Her team with a lot of work to do. They're down 7-0. This is Nicole Bucco trying to carve that one over. Won't be successful. That gives Landon an opportunity to duck behind that guard now, especially with that rock just out of the rings at the back. Discussing playing another. I like to come around here, Steve.
Yeah, I like it better than what they're calling. But you know what they say, Dean? It's not even what they say, it's true. It's you never miss a shot behind the glass.
True enough, but we can make all the right calls back here though, Steve. So this is Terry Gleason. He's gonna put one up. I mean, if I was Landon, I'd be perfectly happy if this one slid into the rings, that's for sure. Looks like it will. They haven't laid a brush to it yet.
Yes. Val wants it to slow down.
It is digging, starting to slow down, but into the rings, which I think is a perfectly acceptable outcome. Kirchhoff will have to deal with it, I think. Down 7-0. She could also just choose to ignore it, freeze, or go behind the yellow guard. Tough spot to come in and start skipping off the bench.
I was thinking the same thing.
You know, you haven't really trying to figure out where to put the broom, and
you certainly really don't expect that to happen.
It's a bit unorthodox, but Mandy Hampton definitely was struggling, so it may not be 100%. Look at this, a great
Nice
roll.
roll.
Almost could have rolled a little further. I think it's still available, the third Terry Gleason. Lisa Landon thinks there's an inside roll available. Up 7-2, probably job one is make that rock go away. They're on it early. Looks to be curling early. Gleason yelling hard for the sweepers.
That looks a little light.
Oh, she's, well, that's what happens sometimes. She chips her own in. So, July's second shot certainly exposes that stone. See what Kirchhoff decides to do here. She's going to draw open, I guess, to lie 2. When you're down this much, it's often you can get ahead of yourself and think you have to get the entire score back in one end.
Right.
So probably smart to play for your deuce here and then try to work your way back into the game.
Start clawing like a badger.
The badger. So tell me in Wisconsin here you have badgers. No honey badgers though, right? This is not honey badger country.
No. A regular badger is much bigger and stronger and
stronger and mightier.
Ferocious.
Ferocious, yes. Have you encountered a badger?
No. But I'm told they're out there.
One of my favorite things is that Michigan has the Wolverines and you have the Badgers, and you talk to people from Wisconsin or Michigan and they've rarely seen either.
But they're out there.
Yeah.
Just got to be careful.
They're out there like Sasquatch, maybe. Oh, here we go, Lisa Landon. Hampton stone available. Missed the draw to lie 2. Landon can now shut things down here in this end. Landon hasn't missed much.
She's had a little laser focus.
It is the out-turn hit. They're off it early. They're watching it. Haven't laid a brush to this yet. They're not carving any rocks, but that will do the job.
Ooh,
oh,
look at that. That's convenient.
That rock probably wasn't out of play, but Terry Gleason just realized that, I think. No, maybe not.
Okay.
Well, I think that was entirely inadvertent.
Yeah, it totally was.
It was not intentional in any way, and nobody else noticed it. So might have actually been a somewhat helpful stone to this on this next shot, but credit to Kirchhoff here. She's going to ignore that stone and try to draw around and try to manufacture a skip's deuce here. Also tricky, here it is, Steve. It just pops into the game, and now she's throwing her first shot. Draw, here we go.
And they're on it.
On it early. Landon was light with a lot. We'll find out quickly here if it's...
now they're saying no. No.
Nicole apparently doesn't like the weight now. Thought it would be interesting to see if maybe Hampton had a tough set of stones. There's Terry Gleason trying to work this one out, and she does successfully. The good news is that rock that was removed inadvertently wouldn't have been a factor. So definitely the force is on now. Landon can draw to lie 2. Safe to say this game has been all Landon, Steve.
very safe to say that. Nearing the fourth end break, it might still be all Landon.
Lisa Landon, her last shot, fourth end. Already up 7-0, hoping to lie 2 here.
Chat's been pretty quiet. If you're out there, you know, we've got 100 watchers now. Seems to grow over the course of the stream. You know, let us know where you are, who you're cheering for.
Haven't laid a brush to this yet, but it should start to curl here and some of the weight come off. I think it'll be just fine. Might want it in.
Yep, make sure it's in.
Very confident it was in. So that'll be the lie 2. Good spot, actually. I don't think Kirchhoff can hit and stick and lie 1. Certainly has a catcher there if she wants to play this hit. You know, I think normally here you'd be thinking that as a skip you can touch the 8-foot and score 1, but Kirchhoff also just came into the game off the bench. Didn't even have time to warm up at the scorer's table, I don't think, Steve. Didn't have time to stretch it out. Got time clocks here this year. That's something we're trying to do at USA Curling at every national championship. It can be challenging, especially with 6 sheets going, so certainly appreciate all the Wausau Curling Center volunteers who are here to serve as timers. Our timing supervisor Fred Fetzer back there as well. But we love to have timing at events. I do think it's an element of a national championship that's important, but I also realize it can be challenging for host clubs to staff it, so much appreciated. I will say quickly while we're watching this shot that if you are an official or interested in officiating and you want to travel up the officiating ranks, getting in as a timer at a national championship, it's a great way to start that process.
Could move you pretty quick.
Kirchhoff trying to hit and stick for 1, and she will. Hits and sticks and rolls in far enough to score 1. That will make the score 7-1, Steve, after 4 ends at the 2023 USA Curling Women's and Men's Club National Championships.
Perfect. So a couple other updates across the sheets. Sheet A, Yapel versus Smith from Denver. Smith came back with 2 in the fourth end to go up 4-3 over Yapel from Chicago. Sheet C, got some action on Sheet C, Bowman versus Kono. Bowman came back with a big fourth end, scoring 5 to go ahead by 1, 6-5 over Kono from Seattle. No update yet on the Politano game. They're finishing up. Same as the Swiss Helm game. Kraus versus Camarina. Kraus extends her lead with another single, 4-1 over Camarina.
There we have it, the wrap up across the sheets as we see Sean Olson, our USA Curling head ice technician, go by with the pebble can there, and volunteers working on the ice crew here, much appreciated.
This is Ann's hammer right here. It looks like she's sitting 1, maybe.
We're going radio style here, Steve. Was it a draw for? It looks like it was just 1 for Swiss Helm.
Yeah, draw for 2, but not there. So with that, that would tie the game with a single, 2-2. Swiss Helm and Wash knotted up. And then we're just waiting for Politano and Segovia to finish up their fourth end. Otherwise, everyone else is on their fourth end break. It'll give me an opportunity to thank Dean. I'm going to step out, and we'll bring in our junior curlers.
That'd be great. First, I was just going to talk about merch, though, Steve. Shamelessly promote it because we have USA Curling merchandise here. I'm wearing some of it right now.
It's beautiful.
It's good stuff, and it'll be available on our online store. Our new online store is launching in just a couple weeks.
There we are.
Yep. So.
Yeah, you do look good in it.
I mean,
I'm. You know what? I gotta hook you up with Stormy Cromer. We need to get a USA Curling Stormy Cromer hat.
That's a Stormy. I thought it was an Elmer Fudd hat. That's a
No,
Stormy
no,
Cromer
it's a
hat.
Stormy Cromer.
Is that a Wisconsin staple?
They're made up in Ironwood, Michigan.
Oh, Ironwood. Okay.
Since 1903, they've been made.
I do like it, Steve.
I'm a aficionado. Let me say that correctly.
Are they all the same style?
Stormies look like this. Little tie.
Yeah.
Little flaps that can pull over your ears.
Right.
Different colors. This happens to be a Lambeau Field one.
All right.
Other side.
This is when
All
I should
backwards.
really tell you to stop talking. Well, I mentioned our great sponsor, Columbia Sportswear, who really is a terrific sponsor. I'm not going to let this hat maker crowd out our sponsor. Unless the hat maker wants to sponsor our junior program. Then I'm all in. But yeah, that's nice hat. Nice merch available from our store. The only reason it's not quite up yet is we want to have a fulfillment process in place, but we have sold a lot of merchandise at events. So I guess we're going to bring in our junior curlers.
Yep, I'm going to turn this on.
All right.
And we're going to get this hooked up.
So Steve is a announcer, commentator, production manager.
Wes, you come over and take this.
Miranda's going to slide in and take the headset. This is Miranda Scheel, last year's U18 national champion and U21 national champion in 2022. Hi, Miranda.
Hi.
Thanks for joining me.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, glad to see you're here in Wausau. And as soon as Wes gets hooked up here, Wes has the player mic on. Hi, Wes.
Hello.
Glad you could join us as well. So, Wes, this is your home club, right? The Wausau Curling Center. This is where you grew up playing. And you will be at the Junior Nationals in Broomstones with your team. And give me your teammates for a moment here.
I'm teammates with Jackson Armstrong, Kevin Toomer, and Chris Kirsch.
Sure. And Miranda, you'll be in at Broomstones as well.
Yes, I will.
Good. It's good to hear. And I want to talk a little bit while we're, it's a 7-1 game, so we'll talk a little bit about junior curling here as we watch the game unfold. So Miranda, tell me how you got started in curling.
I started, I think it was about 13 years ago.
13 years ago?
Yeah.
How old aren't you? You just won the U18.
I did.
13
Last
years.
year.
So you started when you were 5?
Yeah, I was 5 or 6 when I started.
5 or
curling.
6, yeah. And did you like it right away?
Yeah, I kind of had a passion for curling ever since I started. My parents didn't let me initially begin until I weighed as much as the rock.
That's a good strategy, So, how about you, Wes? When did you start curling?
Funny thing is, I was about the same.
Really?
5 or 6.
All right.
About 13 years for me as well.
Well, good for both of you for getting an early start, and it's obviously paid off. You're both talented young players. All right, so I'm going to do a bit of research here. So tell me things we could do to improve junior curling in this country. What would make it better? As we watch Team Landon throw their second stone at the end. Oh, I've stumped them already. They're already stumped. They're like, junior curling is tremendous already, Dean. Well, let's talk about the qualification process this year, that qualification series we created. I think there's some tweaking we'll probably do to it, but what did you think of that?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the qualification process this year. I think it worked really well at bringing out the best of each pool and making sure the people who deserve to be at nationals are making it there.
Well, yeah, one of the things we want to do, quite frankly, is we want to be a part of building a junior bonspiel ecosystem instead of competing with it. So when we have, in the past, when we ran playdown events, that's a competition for another junior bonspiel. So what we'd like to do is continue to build junior bonspiels as qualifiers. So that's the strategy behind it. I think there's probably some tweaks to make to that, and we'll sort those out. But we also created a junior tour championship. Did you play in that event, Wes, this past weekend or not?
No, I was not at it.
All right. So in Blaine, we had the tour championship for teams that had already qualified, while other teams battled for the last spot. So, all right. So that's so you're not helping me improve junior curling so far. All right. So tell me what you enjoy about it.
I just love the competition, and you just get to know everyone, and you can compete at even at like higher levels against the top teams in America, even if you're still a junior team and they don't really restrict you there.
Who did you, what men's teams did you play against this year?
I played against Dropkin. I'm not sure if I played Schuster this year, but I had a bunch of fun games. We played Casper before, and
Yeah.
some good ones.
And did you play in Eveleth this year in the Kashpiel Curl Masabi?
I was.
Did you play other men's events?
Yeah, we were at the International St. Paul Men's.
Yeah.
We won that one this year, and then
That's always fun when your junior team wins a men's spiel. Everybody's mad.
oh yeah,
So.
yeah, it was us and Team A-Bear, and
Oh, an all junior final.
Yep.
Even better. Yeah, you've just diminished the entries in that spiel
Yep.
for next year. You're not going next year, are you?
we'll probably.
I'm trying to help the spiel out here, Wes. You're supposed to say no, we're not going to play next year. So good for you, though. Good for the spiel for having you in it. How about you, Miranda? What do you like about junior curling?
For me, I think it's more of like the atmosphere as a junior curler and just like getting support from your peers. And like it's not all about competition. Like yes, the competition is really good and you like strive to get better through other competitors, but also you're like in the same division and you're there to support each other and make friends and grow as a curler.
Yeah, I always tell junior curlers that. I think one of the best things about curling is that you can become friends with people you play against, which to me is, in my curling career, some of my best friends are people I only played against. So I think that that's a great thing about our sport. Aspirations, dreams, what do you want to do? Miranda, you go.
I'm not sure yet.
No?
That's a really good question.
Doesn't have to be curling related. It could just be life goals too.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm
still
really
not
just
sure yet.
interested. Still not sure yet. I mean, you are. How old are you, Miranda?
I'm 19.
19. Yeah, you got some time to figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Some of us, like myself, don't. But how about you, Wes?
I'm currently working towards being a pilot.
Oh, nice.
Try to get to the airlines and then hopefully strive towards the Olympics if I can try to get that too.
Yeah, you shouldn't be embarrassed. That should be. You can say that proudly. That's what you want to do. It's a tough goal for anybody, but that's what you can be striving for. So where do you study to be a pilot?
I'm in the University of Mankato right now.
Okay.
They have an aviation program.
And what kind? So if you come out of that, now I'm not even talking about curling, Wes. I'm just going to go down the pilot rabbit hole here. But so what kind of planes would you fly?
So usually right out of graduation there, you instruct for a little bit.
Okay.
To gain some hours, and then you can go right into a regional and they'll train you into there.
You know what I'd love? I'd love to have you on my curling team, and you could fly us to events.
It'd be
That would
pretty cool.
that would have been great back when I was playing a lot. That might be a new prerequisite. You get a player in your team who's also a pilot.
Yes.
So you're here practicing this weekend, Miranda?
No, I'm actually just here to watch.
Oh,
I
just
might
here to
get a
watch.
few practices in while I'm here, though.
Oh, good. And your home base is Fargo, right?
Yes, it is.
And the Fargo Moorhead Curling Club, another one of our great facilities. Also 6 Sheets, and they've been great hosts for events in the past.
Yeah.
So we're already down to second stones here, so we'll touch on the game here a little bit. Landon's been all over Hampton so far. How would you describe your own playing style, Miranda?
I think as a team, we play more of a clean game at the beginning, and then we get more aggressive as the game goes on.
How about you, Wes?
We're similar to that, but just generally have been more of an aggressive. As
Like
many
rocks in
actions
play?
We can get as impossible. We've always been. It's always seemed to be. We usually are the underdogs, or at least in the past nationals we've been to, and it's just a way to sometimes catch better teams off guard.
I like a lot of rocks in play. It's exciting. This is third for Team Hampton. Rebecca Westfall after their change. She'll not quite make the double. That'll leave Landon still lying 2. Landon has the hammer here. Just picked up a bit of an echo, but Landon has the hammer now. Yeah. So
Yeah, they've really been able to take control over the house right now.
Yeah, they haven't had much to be concerned about so far. All right, here's the turn signal, Miranda. I got to ask you from North Dakota, what way were you taught?
So I was actually taught the opposite way.
Wow, rogue in North Dakota, because don't they like this approach in North Dakota?
No, I think they teach it the way that I've been taught in North Dakota, where you put the handle originally where your hand is facing.
Yeah. But nonetheless, quick tip for all junior curlers, learn how to not need a turn signal. And you'll be a better player. Unless it's in a straight spot or negative ice and you do need one. So Landon now is going to draw in to lie 3. Tell you what, they really have sort of just been dialing in this draw weight. They just keep filling the house. Kirchhoff, have you ever come off the bench to skip, either of you? Been out of a game as an alternate and then just come in at skip position?
I have not.
Yeah, I think that would be a bit of a mind bender.
Yeah, first time I've seen this situation as well.
Yeah, it's a bit like having the catcher take off the gear and go out to start pitching, but not quite. But yeah, it's a difficult spot for Kirchhoff to be in. But
I think she's handling it pretty well.
She
been
is.
able to capitalize a few times
Yeah,
on
she
the
made-
situation.
she made a nice shot to score 1 in the last end to keep her team in the game, actually. All right, so now Landon's going to have to deal with that stone after Kuchera removes it. You can see just enough of it. Probably fine just to rip this out. If you were up 7-1, Miranda, how would you approach this end?
I think I would have played this end a little cleaner if I were them. But they're not sitting bad right now, so even if they roll out on this, they're still sitting pretty well to force.
They are. Well, they actually have last rock again, so they're in a position to score here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This is Terry Gleason this is the host club team from Wausau Curling Club. Terry Gleason, also a USA Curling board member. On it early, can they get it by this guard? It looks like it's going to be, just by the guard, and chip it out and roll to be shot and kind of dead to the world back there. Kirchhoff will try to freeze to it. Did jam that stone on their other one, but the roll was pretty solid. What's your favorite shot to play, Wes? You don't have to give it away right before Junior Nationals, so maybe just tell me your second favorite shot.
Okay, by far the favorite, just as fast as I can throw it, just crazy peels.
What?
Best.
Like every junior men's curler I've ever known.
Yeah.
You know what I like to do? I like to throw it hard. I really like to throw it really hard right down the pipe and blast a million rocks away. How about you, Miranda?
I think mine have to be long doubles.
Long doubles. Yeah. I like making those once
Yeah.
every 5 years or so at this rate. But
They're so satisfying.
yeah, doubles are very satisfying. Wes is getting his mic adjusted. Kirchhoff with her first in the 5th end. Trying to play a freeze. In some trouble, down 7-1. Needs some pretty special shot making at this point. This rock looks to be curling hard early.
I think they're sitting second here, so could be a lot worse of a situation. They still have that one rock.
Now it looks like actually they're going to be by. Now the question is, will it slow down? It's going to curl past the shot stone, but end up as shot rock at the back. Really hooked over there. Both teams maybe not throwing as much rotation as you might like to with championship stones, but certainly served her well there. Yeah, Wes, you might want to be able to see what we're looking at. Wes is over here watching nothing. Let me put this
I was
down
taking
too.
a peek from all the way
Yeah,
over there.
we're in the corner here, and we're really calling the game off the monitor with occasional looks out. But so Hampton lies 1 now. Landon with her first shot in the 5th end. She got a 7-1 lead, trying a freeze here. How many rotations do you typically have as a rock travels down the ice, Miranda, on a draw shot?
On a draw, I usually tend to have about 4 to 5 rotations.
Excellent. Wes, similar?
That is exactly what I was going to answer.
That's exactly what you were going to say. They're on this rock early, and it looks to be curling early, although Kirchhoff had similar line. They're working hard on it, but I think this is going to be tight to the guard. Yes, that's really on the guard. So now an opportunity for Kirchhoff / Hampton to steal here. He's got one at the back. I think I see a round the worlder there for you, Wes. You know,
Oh, yeah.
that you might like.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see Lisa Landon take it on, but I know every junior men's player would. Probably would have taken it on the last one. What can I throw hard here?
Big opportunities, right?
Yeah. It does look pretty good, actually, that outside for 3 probably, if you made it just right.
Yeah, for sure.
But
That's the thing. Make it just right.
make it just right, yeah. Kirchhoff now will try to close things down. This team has won this event last year with Mandy Hampton skipped. Hampton started the game skipping, but left the game, I think maybe with an injury, I'm not sure. This rock is curling. It's going to be on the guard as well, I think.
Yeah, just a ton of over curls this end.
Yeah, over curling again, and that said, it does leave that shot, the round the worlder, Wes. Even just the hit and roll, there's a lot of room to roll there. It's probably the easiest way to score 1.
We've got that in the draw to the forefoot, it looks like.
Looks like they're going to just draw. So Hampton currently lies 1. Landon hoping to score 1 here, but she does have a 7-1 cushion.
Looks like both teams are a little slow on time right now. Hopefully speed it up in the next few ends.
A little tight, I guess. We haven't had any teams run out of time, thankfully. Some teams here are playing with time clocks for the first time. Do you remember the first time you played with time clocks, Miranda?
I do. We did run out of time, but they gave us a warning the first time.
We were the complete opposite, actually. We were left with like an unbelievable amount of time.
You were so rushed.
we just rushed the entire game.
All right, this is Lisa Landon now, their last shot, 5th end, trying to draw for 1. They haven't laid a brush to it, but it is starting to carve over a bit. Now they're going to get this little chisel maybe? No. So it'll be 1 for Hampton / Kirchhoff at the tee. That makes the score 7-2 after 5 ends. We'll head to the 6th end in just a minute. We can, there's the score. Pretty good start when you go 2-1-4. If we look across the other sheets out there, we can give some updates. We see over on sheet A. We've already talked about this, Wes, but does your dad know that the 1 could be turned around and be a A on the other side?
I'm not sure if he knew that.
I don't want to tell him. I've told everybody else now, but he made some terrific A, B, C, D, E, F signs.
They do look very nice.
They're really nice. I think I might take them on my way out.
That's
just 'cause
fair.
they're that good.
I mean, they can always flip the.
Yeah, you
flip
can
the
flip the
numbers
old
next
ones.
time,
You
right?
don't even need them. This club has, not only does this club have 8 sheets, an incredible bar area, viewing area, but now you've got double the number of sheet things you need. Unbelievable. Sheet A, it looks like, trying to see what that score is. They're playing the 6th end. It's 5-3. I need to look up curling zone. 5-3. It looks like it's 5-3 for Team Smith out of Denver, I think. Let me see if I got that right from a distance. Yes, Team Smith out of the Denver Curling Club. Our game's on sheet B. Sheet C is tied up at 5-5.
I think it's 6-6, actually.
6-6. Yeah, it's 6-6. You're right. I'm like a new curler, and I can't read a scoreboard. But yeah, thanks for correcting me. 6-6. That looks like it's the Bowman rink from North Dakota against. Can't quite see who they're playing. Hang on, I got to get my curling zone update here, but they're wearing similar uniforms. That's my problem here. So I can't tell
it's
the other
basically
team
the
is.
same besides the vest.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll quickly get some line scores up here as our game gets underway. Oh yeah, it's Beth Bowman versus Mio Kono from the Seattle Granite Club. Bowman out of Grand Forks. The next sheet we've got Politano versus Segovia. Politano, a young team here with 2-0, but they're trailing 5-2 in the 5th end. And then we have Swisshelm versus Walsh. And it looks as though Swisshelm is ahead 4-2, playing the 6th. And then on sheet F, we have Camarena against Kraus from Minnesota. And it looks as though Kraus has a 6-1 lead in that game. Back to our feature match, 7-2. Hampton now with Sarah Kirchhoff skipping over Lisa Landon. Have you ever played in the club nationals, Wes?
I've not.
Because you could, technically.
Yeah, I could.
What we won't let you play in is the 5 and unders.
Yeah, that would. I don't think they would appreciate that.
There is an over 21 rule for the 5 and unders. So,
okay. Sure.
Yeah, which I think makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
So what was your first win in curling, Miranda? What was the first thing you won?
I think my first win was probably, are we talking big wins or like club wins?
I'm talking any win. Even could be like the Little Rock Junior Bonspiel with where you won a bowl of ice cream. Anything. Any win that you had.
Yeah, I think my biggest.
Rose play out of Denver. I think he's 13, and he just won that qualifier event. Have you seen him play? Fun kid to watch.
I've been watching him this year, but I don't think I've seen him play before.
Yeah, he'll be at Broomstones at the Junior Nationals. His team qualified from the Denver Curling Club. I saw him skip. I mentioned him because we saw him at U18s, and for 13, he carries himself far better than I would have at 13 as a skip. That's for sure. So impressive.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see all of the great competition this year at juniors.
Yeah, I think I'm excited to see the field play there. And have either of you ever played at Broomstones before in Massachusetts?
No, I have not. This will be my first time.
Oh, good. It's and you, Miranda, never played it?
I have not either.
It's a great club with a lot of junior curling history, where Corey Dropkin came out of. Chase Sinnott played there. Lots of top players over the years have come out of Broomstones. So, club that has a really strong junior program itself. But so your junior league, this league in North Dakota, had 10 full teams.
Yeah, it did.
All like U21s or U18s, or what was the age?
I think a lot of the players were U18s.
Uh-huh.
There were probably a few older ones, but the majority of them were U14s actually.
See Landon there with a nice hit and roll right behind cover, showing a little bit of it. You know, it's interesting. One of the things, we have a junior curling program guide, and one of the suggestions in it is to have a league, your junior curling program, and not just, I think there's sometimes a tendency at clubs that it's hard when you have a small number of kids when you're just starting your junior program to have a league, but find some way to make it somewhat competitive, I think, is important. And West here in Wausau, they have that, right? And they have a pretty good high school championship in Wisconsin as well, don't they?
Yeah, they have two nice, huge bonspiels every year. They got the TG and then high school state, and it's always great to see this place completely filled.
So they pack a lot of people in to watch the high school championship?
Oh, yeah. All the bleachers are full.
Really? It's exciting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Have you played in it?
I have. I played all 4 years of high school in both of them.
So what would both of you think about a national high school championship?
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Where you had to play with something, you had to be from the same school though, so it's not just like U18s. You have to be, so if you didn't have people from your school who curled, you'd have to go out and teach them how to curl.
I think that'd be a great way to recruit a couple people.
That's what I think, right? I mean, that's the thought. Because I think if we do a national high school championship and we just make it high school age, then it's just another U18, right? Which I don't think we really need.
Yeah, that's what we have in North Dakota for high school. A lot of the teams, they're just built of people from the same area. They don't go to the same school.
Right. So I think we could do it and make, everybody has to have the same high school student ID. And I think that would be a good way to get, I think the best recruiters for curling are players like you, more likely to get somebody young to play than someone like me urging them to play.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So this is Hampton now trying to clear the front a bit. Some strange action on those. Looked a bit like a pool shot the way they were rolling around, but spinning around. Can you see that yet, Wes? You're looking. Let me give you a little more perspective here.
Thank you.
Miranda has her own feed.
And my own screen over here.
Yeah. So Landon lying 1, but behind a red stone that could be promoted. This is her third, Terry Gleason, with her last shot here of her first shot, I guess, of the 6th end. What's the biggest lead you've ever blown in a game?
Oh, I don't know if I remember that. I kind of just like.
That's why you're good. If you're young, don't
black
think
those
about
out,
it.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Once you curl long enough, you'll remember a few. But at your age, that's a good thing. I probably shouldn't have even put that in your head, Wes, so I apologize.
Fair enough. No, you're good.
Yeah.
I'm sure there've been a couple. I think the worst I remember is we've been up like 3 or 4 in the 8th and just had an absolutely terrible end.
Yeah, that'll leave a mark, but you remember it, right? So I actually think you learn more as a junior curler from your losses than from your wins.
I'd say definitely.
Losses you can learn a lot from a loss. There's a great line that Earl Morris, curling coach, uses, and he always says you have to stay curious. So whether you win or lose, you have to stay curious after the game about why you won or lost. So if you give up 3 or 4 in the 8th, you have to be curious about how that happened.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. You always take something away from any game you play then.
Yep. So Landon's still lying 1. There is a sort of a red run back that looks pretty appealing.
I was just eyeing that one up.
It's not super close, but it lines up. So Gleason would be nice to wrap one around here, but I think they maybe just be guarding. This looks like it's going to curl too much, though. They might want to bounce off their own yellow if they can, which they're going to. Well, clusters it all a little, makes everything a little more difficult. What do you like here, Wes or Miranda? What shot do you like?
I'm thinking either the draw or the run back here.
Yeah. If they could stick the run back, they'd be in a good position to steal 1 or even 2. So with a miss.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to put on pressure if they can make it.
So as a junior curler, when did you learn how to play the scoreboard?
That's a good question. I feel like I never really learned to play the scoreboard until probably about 5 years ago.
Well, 5 years ago, you were 14 or something. So it's not like it was that late in the game, Miranda.
That's true. That's true.
I will say, I think it's a big learning curve for juniors to start to realize how to play the scoreboard. So I think when that happens. Do you guys watch a lot of curling? You watch a lot of curling like on YouTube, etc.? Do you watch a lot?
A decent amount.
Whenever
there's a.
There it is.
I was watching a bunch of the big events.
There's the run back.
Yeah, made perfectly.
Bounced out a little bit. Landon a little bit lucky that it bounced out like it did.
Yeah.
I just think that's one of the advantages of your generation. You can see a lot of high-level curling that maybe at another time wasn't shown as widely.
Yeah, you can learn a lot from just watching people play.
Yeah, certainly you can see some of the top players and see what they do.
Yeah, and even if it's not live, you can always go back and watch old videos.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so this is Lisa Landon with a hit. She's facing 2 now as Hampton tries to chip away at this lead. Landon, first shot, 6th end. In turn. They're on it early. She may not have got it out all the way to the broom. This looks tight to the guard. Yes, I think it
Just barely made it by.
feathers the guard, removes the stone, but rolls out. So does the job of removing the stone, but certainly an opportunity now for Kirchhoff to sink one in there better than that one was. What's your favorite turn? What turn do you? Well, if you don't want to tell me right before junior nationals, go ahead. But you don't have to. But you could go opposite.
Play some mind games
Yeah,
here.
play some mind games.
Honestly, I've never had a favorite. It doesn't
Not
really
had
bother
a
me
favorite
either
turn. Yeah, good answer. Miranda?
I think during a game, I do not have a preference, but if I'm throwing an LSD, I think I prefer the intern.
The intern.
I think that's a pretty common one.
Yeah, I
hear
think
that a
especially
lot.
with younger curlers, the intern seems more natural. Then you reach an age where the outturn starts to seem more natural and a little more controllable for a right-hander. This looks pretty good if it settles in.
Maybe a little deep, but
Yeah.
it should be fully buried if it
Gleason's
stays.
going to try to bring it back. Does give an opportunity here for Landon to draw. She just needs to touch the 8-foot.
But a good job by Hampton just continuing to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, when you're up 7-2, you don't love to have to draw against 2. Certainly a makeable draw, but you'd rather have something a little more routine. So we'll see if big shot here. If she makes this, Lisa Landon, 8-2 with 2 ends to play. This is it's just up 3 with 2 ends to play. So big swing, big shot, trying to hold this lead. In-turn draw, Lisa Landon, last shot, 6th end.
Looks like they're just keeping the clean down here.
Sweepers seem to like it. Crowds cheering them on. First they were yes, yes, now they're whoa, whoa. Now they're just watching it and hoping it stops. Looks like it is going to slide, you think?
Looks
How far
pretty
will
good.
it slide?
It's
I
close.
think it'll carve over. Yes.
Yeah.
And hangs around at the back to score 1. That makes the score 8-2 after 6 ends. Lisa Landon with a clutch draw. 8-2. This will be a bit of an upset if it holds. Hampton, the defending champion. Landon, the team from the host club. And Wes Wendling's home club. Wes, can you give us updates across the sheets just to test you?
Yes. On sheet A, it is 5-4. Yellow's winning.
Well, that's of no help, Wes.
I'm not sure of the team names.
I'm going to help you out here. Hang
Perfect.
on. You give me the scores. I'll tell you who it is. All right, you're going sheet A. Yep. And
Yellow
that is
up.
Yellows. That's Cynthia Smith from the Denver Curling Club over Haley Yapel from the Chicago Curling Club. And what's the score?
5-4.
5-4. Playing
is up.
7.
Yep.
Yep. And then we've got our game, the feature game. That's 8-2. Landon over Hampton. Then we've got Beth Bowman from Grand Forks throwing red stones against Mio Kono from Seattle, Washington. The Granite Club throwing Yellowstones.
And it looks like the team from Seattle is up 7-6.
7-6. Then we've got Politano against Segovia. Politano throwing the red stones from Ardsley, the Ardsley Curling Club, right near my hometown, against Julia Segovia from the Curling Club of Houston.
And it looks like Houston is up 6-2.
There we go. And then Ann Swisshelm from the Detroit Curling Club over Sarah Walsh from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. Walsh throwing Yellowstone, Swisshelm throwing the red stones.
They're just hanging the 6th end, and it is 4-5. Swiss Elm is up.
4-3.
4-3.
Swisshelm is up.
My bad.
Yeah, that was a real gaffe.
That was.
Wes. And then we go to the sheet
Keeping them
F.
on their feet.
We've got Jamie Krause from Duluth, the Duluth Curling Club throwing red stones, and Adriana Camarena from the club in Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. And the score there, she's throwing Yellowstones. The score is?
Duluth is up 6-2.
There we go. Well done. Look, we really managed that, Wes. Very exciting.
That was very good.
Except for that one gaff.
Only one.
Yeah. I figured you'd be a detail guy with this pilot training, you know. All right, so Landon up 8-2, and it looks like they put their first stone through. It's a good call when you're up 8-2, playing the 7th end. So Hampton, the wheels just came off this game. That's Landon actually throwing it through. Hampton Stone went through, so Landon will put it through. Wheels came off here tonight for Team Hampton. They'll have to regroup tomorrow. Another 4-draw day here at the 2023 USA Curling Club National Championships. 8, 12, 4, and 8 again tomorrow. 8 end games this year. So the guard goes up and Landon will go around it into the top of the 8-foot. So what do you think your biggest challenges are going to be when it comes to curling over the next few years as you try to make your way through adult years?
For me, probably just trying to balance school, college, and a job with traveling and getting all practice time in. It's a little bit of a challenge.
It's a bit of work. And you, Miranda?
Mine's about the same, trying to manage school and work and
Life?
curling all at once.
Yeah. Fair enough. It is challenging. Doesn't get it also challenging when you actually have a job and kids and stuff too. So I don't know if there's any point when curling doesn't present some challenges.
This is true.
I do like the idea. There's a lot of good young players now. I seem to think they start their own businesses, which gives them a bit of flexibility. And as horrible as COVID was, there's also a lot of jobs now where people are more comfortable with remote work. So that's something that would make things a little easier. Also, just gobs of cash for winning in curling. That would make it easier, wouldn't it?
That would be very nice.
Yeah, that would be something we can all try to work towards.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This looks like it's going to wreck on the guard. So Landon will lie 1 behind cover. Just everything going Landon's way this game. Exciting for the host club here. We've got a lot of people here to watch the host club teams every draw. Cucciarelli is the host club team on the men's side. Have you played them in the league here, Wes?
I have.
Yeah, and how did you do? How do you typically do against Cucciarelli?
Depends on the year.
Depends on the year. So you're saying recently you've been crushing them. Is that what you're claiming?
I think they beat us the last time we played them.
There we go.
In the men's championship.
Yeah. So in your men's league here, who do you play with? Because your junior team is spread out. Kevin Toom is in Twin Cities.
Yeah, so I'm not here in Wausau this year anymore, but in the past years, I've just played with Chris. He went to the same high school as me.
Okay.
And then John Wilkerson, who used to be on our junior team.
Yeah.
And then we would usually just curl with my dad as our person to fill in with.
What did you make your dad play?
He usually had to throw a lead.
Oh my gosh, so mean to your dad.
Oh yeah.
Hey, lead's an important position.
Oh, I know. I played it, but I played it for years. So my dad was good enough into his 70s that I didn't really get to throw last rock until he was, I don't know, late mid-70s. I don't know if that was a statement on him or me, but eventually I got to when I played with him.
It's impressive.
Yeah. Hampton trying to wrap one around, and it looks like they're just going to buzz the guard, just get by. Settle in at the back, so they will lie 1 behind cover. It's important in an event like this, and both of you know this from junior nationals, you can often have one horrible game mid-event. Maybe you never have, but most curlers will at some point in their career, and you have to be able to bounce back from it. What do you guys do to bounce back from a bad game in a week-long championship?
Usually you'll have the night off, so just take a nice break, go get some ice cream or take a walk outside. Usually some fresh air will help a bunch.
Fresh air and ice cream for Wes Wendland. How about you, Miranda? Do you follow this fresh air and ice cream formula?
I do like the fresh air after a loss. I think in big competitions, most teams usually have 1 bad loss on their streak of wins. So it's important to just refocus, give yourself some space, and come back the next day fighting.
Yeah, you sort of have to chalk it up to usually in a round robin, you can't have one bad game and bounce back, depending on how big the round robin is. What's your favorite format to play? Round robin, triple knockouts, single knockout?
Mine would definitely be between the triple knockout and the round robin. Just, I'd say more opportunities to bounce back if you do have just an off day.
Right. How about you, Miranda?
I think mine kind of depends on the competition, but I'm liking triple knockout and round robin.
I'm with you. The triple knockout is always my favorite format, to be honest. Doesn't work for every championship by any means or any event, but what I love about a triple knockout is every game matters. No matter who you're playing, you're both playing for something. So, which sometimes in a round robin you can play a team that's out of it and maybe doesn't have much to play for.
Yeah.
So, I do
That's
love
true.
that about a triple knockout.
Or at the end of the round robin when both teams are not going to make the playoffs, but they're still
Exactly.
playing, it's not worth much.
So Landon plays a come around. It's exposed and at the back, but it is currently shot rock for the moment. I think for Kirchhoff, what you'd like to do here is just build in these last couple ends, build to try to build something positive for tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know how much hope they have at winning this one, but being able to make a comeback when you're down very far, or at least try, will help set up their next games.
As soon as you said that, I'll bet it'll be an epic comeback now. This rock is curling hard again, but the weight looks close. They'd love to move this yellow one just a bit and lie two, but I don't know if they'll do that. They're actually going to slip through the hole. Groans from the crowd in here. So close to perfect weight, over curls, and now chance for Landon to Christmas tree this. You like the Christmas tree here? Or do you like just guarding in general, or do you like coming right in there?
I do like the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't leave much room for them to play anything else that you can't get to.
I always like the idea of bringing another one in. I played with a guy who always said it was good strategically and also just to show the other team that you could do it as a skip whenever you wanted to, which is not the worst idea. Landon, her first shot of the 7th end. She's ahead 8-2 from the host club, Wausau Curling Center here in Wausau, Wisconsin. The perspective we have on our monitor doesn't seem like every rock is just curling right off the sheet.
It does.
And then they are curling a lot, but we have a lot of curl on the ice. But it really, from this perspective, so it's going to settle in. Not quite guard it, but guards it somewhat. The freeze is definitely still there. Even a tap is probably available. So Miranda, you played with these championship stones at the Nationals this year. Was that your first time with these rocks, or have they had them at a junior Nationals you played at?
I think Women's Nationals was the first time I played out with these rocks.
Have you ever played with the USA Curling Stones, Wes?
I think they had them I'm pretty sure they had them at Eau Claire and then in Detroit for
True.
both of those juniors. So
Just so people know, at USA Curling, we'd like to have these stones at a lot of championships, but it comes down to a matter of cost and timing. Curling stones not being particularly easy to transport.
I can't imagine.
So this event worked well because Sean Olsen was able to bring them from the mixed doubles in Kalamazoo directly to here. But they're not good for air shipping at all. Terrible for that.
Heavy and
Yeah.
clunky.
Really meant to be shipped by truck or ship.
I can't imagine they stack well either.
Yeah, once in those boxes, I guess they do, but yeah, to take good care of them. All right, so here comes Kirchhoff in at skip for Team Hampton, trying to make a freeze here. I don't think that's going to work, though. They seem a little disappointed in it. Terry Gleason's going to scoop that rock in closer. So Landon still lies 1. Now, what do you think here, Wes? What would you play? Especially if you want to get off the ice right away.
Yeah, I like what you called last time, just the draw under, add more pressure, show them you can do it.
With the way those guards are now, if you bite the top of the button, there's almost no way for Hampton to score, or Kirchhoff. Minnesota team has some fans behind their sheet. By the way, did you see that Welcome to Nationals flag there, Wes?
Where was that?
out on the ice. I'm only joking because we have this Welcome to Nationals flag, and I'm very excited about it. But
cool.
Not everybody else shares my excitement. It's okay.
I love the things that make events special to themselves. It's cool.
You've nailed it there. One of the things we're trying to do at USA Curling, make every championship not feel like just Tuesday league night, right? So we're not there yet, but we're working towards that. This is Landon trying to wrap one around maybe, or maybe just guarding now. Now they're going to see if they bounce off that red guard. Well, they'll make it a little tougher, but still an opportunity for Hampton to draw in, I think, and score, but not a particularly appealing draw from the hack, is it? To 2 skips. How do you feel when you're a skip and that's what you're looking at from the hack?
It's definitely a lot tighter of a court than they had before.
Yeah.
Not sure you have much else options there.
Do you ever glare at your teammates when you face a shot like this, Wes?
Not usually. You kind of you realize you probably played a little bit of a part in getting there too.
It's a good attitude. It's a good attitude in a young man. So Kirchhoff in for Hampton and Skip will try to draw for 1. I don't think there's any way to move that yellow to score 2. They're trailing by a mittful here. They're down 8-2. So she'll need something pretty good just to have any chance of really considering extending play into the 8th end. Out-turn draw. Last rock, 7th end. Early sign is that the weight is all there. Now it looks like they're maybe trying to carve it over a bit. This rock has some pace. It will wreck on the guard. That'll be a score of 1 for Landon. I expect we'll see handshakes, and there they are. Handshakes as Lisa Landon, the host club, notches their first win of the event. They win this game 9-2. And Mandy Hampton and her team, skipped by Sarah Kirchhoff late in the game, they suffer their first loss, so they'll fall to 2-1. Miranda, Wes, anything else you want to add before we leave?
I don't think so.
No? You're looking forward to Broomstones and the Nationals there?
Oh yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be coming from the Men's Worlds in Ottawa and come down to the Junior Nationals. I know they're going to put on a great event at Broomstones. Great club, and they're working hard to make it a great event. Oh, they're back to me. Boy, now I got to sit up straight. I was relaxed. So, but yeah, I really do appreciate your time. We get Wes in here too. Slide in there, Wes. There we go. So everybody can, there's Wes. There we go. There's Wes Wendling, Miranda Shield. Yeah, Miranda's both where he's trying. Wes really has it tough here. Miranda got the chair. Wes is sort of in an awkward. I'm worried he might get injured before the Junior Nationals.
I'll be good.
Yeah, so really do appreciate both of you joining. And again, many thanks to the Wausau Curling Center for hosting this event, and for the webcast coverage here. It's been great to have, and thanks to Steve O'Keefe for letting me slide in here. Since this is the first webcast I've done with this setup, I'm not exactly sure how we wrap things up here.
We're just stuck here forever.
So I'm hopeful that maybe someone will give me an indication before too long. If not, I will continue to discuss nothing. All right, there we go. We could finish with some quick scores before we go.